Well, I think it's fair to say that the preview video for this series that came out on Sunday went down quite well. If you haven't seen it yet, I implore you to go and watch that before we go any further. It really fits into what the feel of this whole save is intended to be. We want to be blurring the lines as much as we can between reality and Football Manager. And don't worry if you were excited because we were at a football club and now you don't understand because I'm not there now. Worry not. That will absolutely not be the last time you see behind the scenes at Nuneaton Town in this video. In fact, it won't even be the last time this week. We're going to be back and forth to the club throughout the series. But, of course, it's a Football Manager save, so we need to play some Football Manager too. So this video is all about us meeting the team and playing our first game of the season. Hello and welcome to part 1 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kev, and coming up on this episode, we're going to do what I just said. We're going to meet the team. We're going to play our first game of the season. We're going to have a look at the transfers that we brought in over the summer. And if that sounds like the sort of thing that you're interested in, make sure you leave a thumbs up now. Why not? We've got quite a good track record over the last few days for getting first videos in a series to 1,000 likes. And it would be awesome if we could do that again on this one. So if you're excited for what's to come, let's pop a thumbs up on there right at the start to try and get us to 1,000 likes. And subscribe if you're new and all that stuff. I know I don't normally do that at the start of the video. It feels a bit weird, but apparently I'm supposed to do it then, because then you'll... Anyway, let's meet the team. Nuneaton Town, as you can see, we've played our pre-season. We've had a little nose around the squad, and we're going to start on this screen, because this screen, I think, is probably... I know it's a screen that's been in the game for a long time, but it's a screen I'm really using more and more now to work, certainly with having multiple saves on the go to try and work my way around a new club. So straight away we identify some strengths that we've got in our squad, and we saw it in the video when we were actually at the club. Ashley Chambers, he was mentioned by the chairman of the club. He was identified as the best player who's on a permanent contract at the club in the little training session we did with him as well. And he is just comfortably the best player that we've got at the club. I don't really understand how he's at Nuneaton. Ashley Chambers, 27-year-old striker who can also play on either wing, 4.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. He's just much better than any other option we've got in any position. Okay, not left wing because Jordan Nicholson, and we'll come to him in a minute. The only issue is he's fairly susceptible to injuries and we need to try and keep him fit, but he is a quick striker who has the potential to score an absolute pile of goals for us. I mean, it's not necessarily clear from his past, but, you know, he's playing at a much lower level than he ever has before, and I expect him to score. Look at that. There you go. On loan at Nuneaton last season, 9 goals from 12 appearances. That's the kind of form we're expecting from Ashley Chambers. And we need to basically build a team around that man, and that's what we're going to intend to do. Him aside, Nicholson isn't clickable from here, so let's go and click on him from this direction. The other star man is Jordan Nicholson, who's on loan from Posh, 23-year-old attacking midfielder who can also play on the left wing. The slight issue is he goes back in January. We've tried to get him on loan for the full season. He refused. He's pretty much as good as Chambers. The two of them are far too good for this level. They're both Vanarama national quality players. 4.5 stars in an attacking midfield position. He's also the best left winger we've got at the club as well, and had a great season on loan at Nuneaton last year. So, and in fact, go back to Jordan Nicholson for a minute. Look at all those goals he scored for Ainsbury. I mean, this is a goal-scoring midfield player we've got here, so he's going to be very important to us as well. Once you go past them, then we've got a lot of players who are all kind of similar sort of quality. Dean Linus is a very good keeper for this level, 3.5-star current ability with the potential to improve further. He's a new signing at the club this summer. And we've got a number of decent youth prospects as well. We'll meet the rest of the team when I show you my first team in a minute, but I have brought in some transfers as well, so let's have a quick look at them before we go any further, so you can see the players that Kev's brought into the club. More signings than I was able to make in the non-League to Legend save with Alfreton, because this club has more money. It's a professional club, I think. Hold on. Club. Yes, professional club, much bigger wage budget, which I've gone over because I'm Kev. I did that accidentally. It's because I didn't realise how non-contracts would be affected on there, and I've messed it up a little bit. I think that's going to be the excuse that I'm sticking to. So we're going to try and offload a few players as the season moves on. But we've brought in 6 players, and I think there's 6 players who are going to make a significant difference to our chances of success. I've identified areas I wanted to strengthen, and I think I've strengthened them. I'm doing things properly this year, because remember, I've never done this before. taking a club from the Conference North all the way to the Champions League. This is going to be a tall order. So I need to be sensible about things. So Zidane Akers comes in as a right winger, 18 years old, 3-star current ability, 5-star potential. He comes in from Hearts. Jonathan Nixon, who you might recognise from my Alfreton team if you're watching that save as well. This was an accident. I didn't mean to sign him in both teams, but at the time when I was playing the 2 pre-seasons, I didn't really know the players' names yet, and I kind of signed him for one, signed him for the other. He came up on the scout reports for both. So it'll be interesting to see how he compares in the 2 saves. He's the only overlap between the 2 squads, and I'm going to try and make a point of not overlapping because that just gets silly then. But 3-star current ability, 5-star potential. He's going to be our backup to Chambers as a striker. This guy, I'm really happy with this signing. Sofiane El Bekri is a 21-year-old French player, 3.5-star current ability with 5-star potential. Comes in from Millwall. He's never played a game, but I mean, he's a good midfielder. We've got 2 very, very good central midfielders now with El Bekri and Tom Elliott. The one issue is they're quite similar. So I'm going to have to find a way to get them to play together. Jamie Horncastle comes in to give us a little bit of depth at centre-back, mainly because we've got a lot of good centre-backs at the club, but they're all getting on a bit, and there's a few injuries at centre-back as well. So Horncastle is one for the future, 4.5-star potential. He might get a few games as the season goes on. He was really just brought in as an extra option, just in case we pick up another injury or two, and he was cheap. David Mellor, similar sort of principle, just coming in as a cover player, relatively low priced, different kind of midfield player, a ball winning midfield player who can also play at left back, which might be a position we need to use him in later on in the season. 2.5-star current ability, a 3.5-star potential. Was at Barrow last year and has been around at the Conference National level and above pretty much throughout his entire career, so should do a job for us at this level. And then we've also signed a backup keeper, Danny Hurst, 36 years old. This is the guy who put us over the wage budget, I think, even though he's not on any money. And I didn't realise it would, but it's allocating money for some reason. And I could probably do with looking up how this works. He's on an appearance fee. I don't plan to let him have any appearances. He's been playing for Stockport and been around National League level and sort of this kind of level of non-league all his career. He's just coming in to sit on the bench. Linus will play if he's fit, but I wanted a little bit of experienced quality to sit there on the bench for us. So they're the players who have come in. Dynamics-wise, I don't read too much into this at the moment. Match cohesion is abysmal because they haven't played a competitive match yet, but the dressing room atmosphere is good. We have a couple of highly influential players, and these are those experienced older centre-backs that we were talking about. Kelvin Langmead is our captain, but he's injured. He's got Achilles tendonitis and he's going to miss at least the first couple of months of the season. So we're not going to be able to see him play straight away. John Ashton is our vice-captain and assistant manager, who's 34, so even older than Langmead is, and he picked up a bit of a knock in pre-season as well. He's fit again now, but he hasn't really had much of a pre-season. So that's the reason I wanted to bring in someone a little bit younger in the centre-back positions. And then aside from those two, we've only got 2 other influential players, and you've met them both already, Chambers and Linus. Everyone else falls into the other players category, so we don't have much influence in the squad, and that's something that we kind of need to be developing some of these players through, and it's potentially going to be a little bit of a problem there. Social groups wise, again, lots of people who are not part of those social groups, including, as we identified in the preview video, the guy who'll start our season as captain while Langmead's injured, and our assistant manager isn't in a friendship group, even though he's one of our highly influential players. We need to drag him into a friendship group, but it's not going to let us do that. So we need to work on this screen. Kev's phone's making noises. Bad Kev. There you go. We'll turn the phone off because, you know, we're properly professional around here. Everyone else, turn your phones off as well. We need to be concentrating here. So this is the tactic that we're going to be using. Kev's using wingers, and I'm a little bit frustrated that injury is stopping me do it the way I actually want to do it. I'm still not entirely sure if this is going to be the combination of players that I'm using, but the reason I'm doing wingers is because we have 2 really good wingers at the club when I arrived. Alex Henschel, who's 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, has a cracking moustache, and I want him in the team. The problem is he's injured. He's got a bruised knee. He's going to be out for another 3 weeks. Greg Mills is a guy who can play on the wing either side, who, again, decent winger, but he's injured. Torn groin muscle, out for a couple of months. So long term, I want to be doing this. today is going to have a big impact on whether we continue to do this while those guys are injured, because the left wing position is a bit of a problem, because once we get past Henschel, the two next best players there are Jordan Nicholson, who we want to be playing as an attacking midfielder. That's his best position. Ashley Chambers, who we want to be playing as a striker. That's his best position. And they're the two best players at the club. We really want them playing in their best positions. And then Djelna is our first choice left back. We kind of want him playing left back. And then we're getting back to players who we don't necessarily really want there. We could, I guess, put Beswick there, who, if we stick him there, I guess it then means we can put Chambers up front. I think that actually might be what I do for today, because I really want Chambers, and I think for us to be successful we need Chambers and Nicholson in their best positions, and we need Nicholson setting up the chances for Chambers to put away. So I think we will bring Beswick into the team, which means I just need to put Nixon up onto the bench instead of Callum Ball, and then this will be the team that we're going to our first game of the season with. So we've got Dean Linus in goal, who we've already met. He's our top quality keeper for this level. At right wing back, Luke Trotman, 21 years old, 3-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. I believe he's one of the players who just defected from the Nuneaton to go to Darlington in real life. But obviously we started to save before that happened, so we've still got him. And then at left back, we've got Joel Djelna, 3.5-star current and potential ability. He's a 26-year-old French player. I've got him on wing back at the moment because I really want him to push on. If that just doesn't work today, and it is going to be a bit of an experiment, if it doesn't work at all today, we'll just drop him back to being proper fullbacks, leave the back four to just defend, and let the front six take care of the attacking. At centre-back, John Ashton, we've already talked about. He's going to be captaining the team today. And Niall Heaton, who's a 21-year-old centre-back, 3-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. He's another new signing at the Nuneaton this summer from Alfreton, interestingly. And, he's one of the better youngsters that we had at the club when we first arrived. El Beckry's going to be our deep-line playmaker. We've already met him. And he's going to be partnering Tom Elliott, who's going to be trying out being a box-to-box midfielder. Both Elliott and Al Beckry want to be deep-line playmakers. They can't both be. So we'll try them that way round. If that doesn't work, we'll try them that way round. If that doesn't work either, we'll drop one of them, which isn't ideal. Or maybe try 3-man midfield. I'm not sure. But that's the combination of those two we're going to try initially. Nicholson's then going to be in behind Chambers up front. We don't need to look at both of those again. Beswick we just met. He can play all over the blooming place. He wants to be a defensive midfield player. We're going to be playing him on the left wing. Very flexible. So hopefully he'll be able to do a job for us up there. He is an option for us in midfield if these guys can't get along. And then our other new signing, Akers, on the right wing. So control, flexible. We're not going to be trying to be quite as industrial with our football as I've already said I'm going to be in non-league to legend with Alfreton. We want to play at a slightly higher quality. We've got better players. We're able to pay a little bit more money. I want to be a little bit closer to playing the Kev style. We are still going to be doing direct passing because we're in the Conference North. These players, they can do direct passing. I don't want them being too intricate with it. We want some overlap on. We've got two attacking fullbacks. We want them to get up and overlap. We're not going to close down too much. And that is something I picked up off of the team report because our work rate is awful. Now, if our work rate's awful and we've got a lot of old players like we have certainly at the back, I don't see the benefit in telling them to work hard because they're not going to regardless. So let's just say close down less, lower the tempo a little bit. And then we want to be getting all four of these players, getting low crosses into the box for Chambers to use his pace to get onto the end of. So there's some thought that's gone into this, which I know is a little bit alien for me. But let's get into our first game and see if all this thought and all this planning was worth it, or if it's just going to be an absolute disaster and I need to have a little bit of a rethink. I'm already regretting, there you go, the absence of Kelvin Langmead is going to be felt hard. I think it probably is. But I'm already regretting not signing a left winger as a backup option. Right, we need to just sort the TV stuff out. We want it on key highlights. I don't know why this doesn't carry over from save to save. It is silly that it doesn't. And then put that on behind goal. And we're away. Right, we're the ones in the blue, in case you were wondering. And we haven't scored yet, but we might be about to. Chambers is in, was fouled. Red card, anyone? I mean, he was through on goal there and already showing what a nuisance he's going to be this season. And it's El Beckry with a free kick. Less than a minute on the clock. Doesn't test the keeper though, which is a little bit of a shame. But that straight away we saw just how much of a pest Ashley Chambers can be. And I wonder if it wasn't 20 seconds into a new season, whether there would have been a slightly sterner punishment for their defender there. Because to me, Chambers looked like if he got past the man who fouled him, he was through. And in Kev's world, that's a red card. Or, at least a yellow card. I don't think there was even a booking. Chambers picks the ball up again, a little bit on his own, but plays it out wide to Akers, who'd actually run beyond him. But he's now tucking inside a little bit, finds Elliott, back to Chambers. Nicholson's in space, but Chambers doesn't need him and shoots wide. But I'm still only 3 minutes on the clock, I'm enjoying how lively Ashley Chambers is looking already. I am wary of becoming a team that completely relies on him because he's injury prone. But there he is again, look. He's too good for us. This is awesome. I don't want to rely on him too much because if he picks up a knock, it's going to be a disaster, especially when Nicholson's only here until Christmas and that's cleared off the line. And we have been all over them for these first 8 minutes. And I hope the fact that we're not converting our chances isn't something that comes back to bite us in the backside. Yes, that's right. Cliche bingo carries over into Backing the Boro. Oh, Chambers is in again. He must score this time, and it's straight down the keeper's throat. Ashley Chambers has had 3 clear-cut chances and a half chance in the first 12 minutes. I'm excited by how many chances he's getting. I am starting to get a little bit concerned at the fact he's not converted any of them. And I hope he's not just all pace and excitement and no end product, because then we need a complete rethink, because we've got Nicholson and the whole team is built around creating chances for Chambers. If he's not going to convert them, he's in there. There you go. He does convert that one. And it's a ball forward from El Bekri playing as a deep line playmaker. And he just decides to completely ignore all of the creative midfielders we've got in behind him and just dink it over the top. Nicholson already tried it once, comes back to El Bekri, takes one touch over the top for Chambers, who finds himself some space. That's a lovely first time finish from over his shoulder. And if we're going to create as many chances as we have so far, it's probably not a disaster if he only scores 1 in 5 of his chances. It's when we get to the point where we're only creating 1 chance a game that becomes a problem. El Bekri with another free kick, and this one he scores. The early one was obviously just him getting his sighter in, and what a signing he's already turning out to be, because he's got an assist and a goal on his debut now. And look, he knows how good he is. He doesn't even celebrate, just turns round, hands planted down the side of him, and he knows he's a bit special. And I like the fact we've got creative talent like El Bekri, like Nicholson, but we've also got the option to just hit the ball up for Chambers to chase and be an absolute nuisance. I think we've got a really well-balanced team here at Nuneaton, and I think maybe... I say I want to sign a left wing. We've got no more wage budget, but we've got, what's-his-face, whose name escapes me, Henschel, who should be fit soon to come in on that left wing, and as soon as he does, I think we're going to be a real threat from all areas of the pitch. But that is about as good a first half as we possibly could have hoped for. Let's hope it doesn't all just sort of peter out. We don't want to be an explosive start and then it all kind of drifts away a little bit. Nicholson looks like he's struggling a little bit for fitness, which is weird considering he's the League One player on loan at us. You'd expect his fitness to be good. Chambers with another good chance, getting him behind him again. He's using his pace and movement to absolutely rip Harrogate apart here. They just have no way of coping with him, and maybe 3 or 4 games further down the season, when he's got a little bit of match fitness and a little bit of morale and confidence going, he gets a hat-trick today, because he has had so many chances. Right, Nicholson, who's been a little bit quiet, finds Chambers, back to Nicholson. Here's his chance for a goal, and it's a good save from the Harrogate keeper. And I am starting to think in terms of substitutions, particularly Nicholson, who does seem to be not quite with it today. I don't know if he's maybe... he's on a 7.8, which isn't a disaster, but I'm not seeing him do much in the highlights, and he is tiring, which obviously we don't want. Right, there's another foul from Harrogate, who are just getting frustrated that they're not getting a proper kick of it, which is fine by me. Let's frustrate them. I like dancing around being better than the opposition. Right, Nicholson we are going to take off and just bring on Brady Hickey, who's a 21-year-old attacking midfielder. 3-star current ability, 5-star potential. So to be fair, he's an option to come into the team in attacking midfield permanently and move Nicholson out to the left wing if having Beswick out there doesn't work. And it doesn't really seem to have worked today. He's not had the best of games. we don't have anyone to put out there right now, unless we move Dielna forward maybe, who was one of the other options. So perhaps we bring Mella on and stick Dielna up there like that and just leave it there for 10 minutes and see what happens. Just really to have a little look at him to see how he does in that position, because I think we definitely need a plan for while Henshaw's injured. Ashton, I mentioned before that he's not really had much of a pre-season. He's getting a little bit tired, so we're just going to move Trotman over, bring Wild in. He can pretty much play anywhere across the defence and midfield, which is certainly a useful player to have at this level. And right, Hickey with the chance to clear it, and he lumps it forward to Dielna, our left back, who's now playing on the left wing, who's in acres of space, but has no idea what to do, but squares it to Chambers. He actually did really well, Dielna. Puts it on a plate for Chambers, who gets his second of the game, our third. We're up to second in the league. Harrogate are now down to 10 men. I don't know, did they get a red card? Have they had an injury? I don't know how I've not noticed that. It must be an injury. We could make a third substitution now, and I think we might actually... Are we going to risk upsetting Chambers if we take him off? But with his fitness issues... Oh, we've already made our... I forgot we'd made our third substitution. Don't make an idiot of yourself on the first episode, Kev. There might be new people watching. They don't need to know about you yet. Right, let's just grab a fourth then. Don't mind me, I'm just going to drink my coffee that's gone cold now. Cold coffee. Delicious. All in my moustache as well. Oh, the professionalism's already gone downhill. Well, 3-0 on the first day of the season. I don't think it gets much better than that. That is what I call a start to the season. So fingers crossed, all uphill from here. We said in our interview, a couple of quick promotions and then start getting the infrastructure in place. There's your new plan. If you have enjoyed this episode, like we said at the start, if you haven't already done so, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for us. The more likes, the more comments, the more shares we get on these early episodes of new seasons, they are massively important and really go a long way towards deciding how successful the series is going to be, because obviously it's hard to jump into a series on episode 20. Episode 1's where people join, and if we give more people the opportunity to see episode 1, it's all good. So a like would be massively appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and liked what you saw, or even if you're new and you made it this far, it's probably worth subscribing at this point. I've got loads of videos like this one if you can sit through this, and thank you very much for watching.